Plant blindness is the inability to notice or have interest in plants in a landscape or in nature. This unawareness can create a level of ignorance to all of the benefits plants have in the environment. Plant blindness occurs due to a lack of botanical education, as well as the inability of the media to showcase plant diversity and their importance with society. Plant blindness is a big issue, and it is quite large, but with the advancements in technology and the way the younger generations are being raised, it's still growing and will only continue to grow if we don't step in and educate them. Another reason that plant blindness is such a large issue is because it stems from the interest and focus on animals at a young age. Kids learning about animals in school is steering them away from noticing the importance of plants at a young age. Although plant blindness can be viewed mostly in children, it can be prevalent in all generations to a degree. But the younger generation are the ones who are the most blind. Whether this is because of the focus on animals, I think it's mostly because of the lack of information about plants and the lack of opportunity for interaction with plants. Now that we have kind of addressed plant blindness, what it is, what age group we kind of see it in, so because mostly college students will be listening to this, I thought it would be good to have ways that we can fix this as college students. So as a college student, we can try and educate people about how plants help us in many ways. I think it could be a good idea to take horticulture students into classrooms of all ages to talk about the things we find most interesting about plants, in hopes to spark interest amongst the youth. Furthermore, on this idea, as college kids, we could promote kids to take an interest in plants by providing informational tours that can function as a field trip for classrooms in the greenhouses. Another proactive thing that Michigan State does is Michigan State has very ample opportunities for children who come in and visit the greenhouses and learn how plants work and all that fun stuff. So Michigan State is a very forward university to address these issues. Also, placing posters near the tutor sign-up sheets would be a good place of the small things that they can change on their lives to open their minds to plants. So just little, flyers that have tidbit information, just fun facts. People love that. So we could also, as college students, have an impact on the issue by doing small things. So read a book or watch a show about plants so we can, if we address that this is an issue and we understand it, we can do small things ourselves by fixing it. And so when we are walking around campus and notice plants that are being grown around you that make the campus look desirable and inviting, and just seeing this aesthetic and realizing that not only is it pleasing to the eye, but they also are beneficial to us. And we can also, just recycle, put our waste away so it's not laying in the grass or the plants and harming them. Although not everyone is a college student, so here are just some ways, as a society, we can fix this issue. So society can fix this issue by introducing horticultural ideas to the younger generations in school curriculums. Even if it's just one day, just planting that seed in their mind could encourage them to appreciate plants a little more and potentially grow the green industry in the future. No pun intended. Also, according to an article on botany.org, their suggestion to solving plant blindness is to start with the younger generation. They believe that a well-planned, meaningful, and mindful experience with plants is the best way to solve the issue. Even just planting a cup of grass and having the child see it grow and have the child take care of it can lead to the younger generation being more open to the environment around them. Furthermore, a plant mentor would be a good thing to have as a kid growing up. According to the same article, a child is more likely to be more involved and want to do more if they are under guidance of a knowledgeable adult who is very active in a garden or something of that sort. It also suggests that putting up posters in teachers' classrooms that explains what a plant blindness is, along with posting plant-related activities to increase people's awareness of the plants would be a good idea, like we said, as college students, but we could also do this if you're not in college. So another topic that relates to plant blindness is technology. We are in an ever-growing generation. And so a big question people ask is, does technology have an impact on plant blindness? The answer is yes. People get too caught up in technology and don't pay attention to their surroundings. This is a larger issue in big cities because there's such a small amount of green space, despite the efforts of people to put greenery in cities, that it's very easy to miss it because it's very scattered and far and in between. Instead of technology being a distraction from plants, society could be developing new techniques to help decrease plant blindness. Although technology has a large amount of negative effects on the causes of plant blindness, it could also be a way to cure it. With all the information that is readily available at your fingertips, it is very easy to search a plant that you find in the wild or that you would like to know more about. Downloading an app that allows you to use the camera to take a picture of a leaf and have it tell you all the valuable information about the plant would be a positive effect of technology. Although the source of the uninterest in plants may stem from the use of technologies in the younger generation, it can also be the way it is turned around and have a positive impact on the issue. Plant blindness has a direct role in climate change. I think that if people lack awareness about plants and their benefits, they won't be planted as much. Society understands that plants are necessary, but they do not fully understand why they are so necessary. So if they can't understand why a plant may be beneficial, they may also think that the earth is flat and that climate change isn't real. So just to kind of tie things together, if plant blindness continues and new plants aren't planted, the world could see a drastic increase in the amount of carbon in the air. So with deforestation and all that stuff, that's having a huge impact on our climate, and that also has to do with that people don't see the benefits of plants, so they just cut them all down to use them for other things instead of what they were originally designed to do. So plant blindness is kind of a unique topic, and it's just, so where exactly does it come from? So plant blindness spawns from the human's inability to focus on nature with other stimulus available. The age of the computer and the internet moved people from outside to inside. Many children who grew up in this age of change taught their children that the environment and plants do not matter. It's easy to just sit them in front of a TV or an iPad nowadays. So those things become important to kids, so it's easier to ignore things that don't matter to them. But as we know, plants are very important, but these kids are not being taught that because they're staying inside and they're not going outside and playing outside. So, like I said, the issue came from children at a young age being taught. And so they have, another thing is not only not knowing what plants are, so they are also taught having animal comparisons drilled into their everyday curriculum and not learning about anything plant related. Going along with kids' education in secondary, elementary education, the science textbooks that talk about evolution and biology have few pages that are devoted to talking about plants. Again, the kids are being taught about the way that animals impact the environment and their importance to our lives, but they're not being really taught a lot about plants. Although this has become an issue because of the way the brain processes information, according to abes.org, the brain processes only 16 bits of the 10 million bits of information that the eyes bring in. So of these 16 bits, the brain only focuses on kinetic objects along with the ones bright alerting colors because they pose a threat to us. The plants blend in into the background, causing a majority of our society to overlook plants on an everyday basis. So because they are not able to differentiate the plants because they're the same color and there's multiple of them, their brain just is not able to recognize that small percentage. So plants account for 57% of the United States federal endangered species list, which is interesting because when you think endangered species, we automatically think animals, but this also includes plants because there are plants that are endangered. And so the federal endangered species are only allocate 3% of that spending to plants. So over half of the plants are endangered on this list, but they're only using 3% of it to help build up that species, which is another issue that I won't get into right now. Just kind of to wrap things up, although you alone do not think that you can change the course of plant blindness, realize that your entire life revolves around plants. If you just think of things like writing on paper, eating food, wearing clothes, all of that, whether or not you realize it's all made from plants or is because of plants. So if you could just do one small thing a day, and over time, we can end plant blindness.